Hello and welcome to Connect to Love here on PRN-FM, where each week is an amazing exploration into the many facets of love, oneness, and our connection to the human spirit. I'm Lisa LeRose, and I'm joined by my incredible co-host, Michael J. Russ. I wanted to start our conversation today around a thought that has been buzzing around in my mind this week, and that is that we live in a world where we race through our days with thousands of thoughts and images swirling in our minds. We fill our calendars with tasks and chores and to-do lists, and without even realizing it, those daily demands start to suppress our dreams. We close our eyes to the endless possibilities that surround us simply because we're too busy getting through the day. And there's a wonderful quote that I ran across this week, and it was really simple. It just said, with the power of belief, find the strength to open your eyes. And I really love it because I truly believe that we all have the power to realize our dreams, but if we don't believe in them, how can they become a reality? So today, I thought it would be fun if we could explore what happens when we choose to believe again. And to help us explore this, we have a very special guest, someone who has spent the last several years helping people reconnect with the deeper wisdom within each of them. I couldn't imagine a more perfect person to explore this conversation with other than our dear friend, Carol Collins. I'm so excited to explore this topic with you both because I think that oftentimes we don't recognize the power of our beliefs. And I love the idea that with the power of belief, we can find the strength to open our eyes to the guidance that's always there. I want to say welcome to you both because this is a beautiful topic, and I'm so eager to hear what the teachers say, and also you, Carol. And I want to just welcome you both and see how you're doing.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. And Carol, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. I am excited to be here. I'm doing great. It's a hot but very good summer. Nothing to complain about, that's for sure.
Good.
That is good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that in your absence, Michael and I have been adding more happy and more joy and encouraging our audience to do the same, to keep adding that because we were so inspired by the last time you joined us. I know that the last 3 episodes that we've done have all included reminders from the teachers. More happy, 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 happy. We're very grateful to you.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Oh, you're welcome. And I am grateful to them for, and I say that, there's nothing to complain about, but I say it with a little bit of observance that normally, I love hot, sunny summers, but this one has been extraordinarily hot, mid-90s to hundreds for weeks on end, and that's unusual. Mm-hmm. And there is nothing in me that wants to complain about it. It feels different. There's something different. And they talk to me about this kind of thing often, and it has to do with what they call emotional mediumship. Emotional mediumship. And so I think they're going to weave that in today, at least I hope they do. But, so they have been teaching about emotional mediumship and how it is possible to become a medium like me, clairvoyant medium, channeled medium. But the world population could open up their minds to something different that is also available. Now, this is not becoming an emotional empath where you're feeling the emotions of others and you get claustrophobic or, frightened or things like that. This is manifesting a different countenance from guidance, and so we don't know the difference. We just know, gosh, it's been so easy for me to deal with that boss, or it's been so easy for me to deal with that relative. Didn't used to be, but all of a sudden things are better. And they said, it's just something to think about, something to want is, if you could manifest winning the lottery, great. That would be financial mediumship, using guidance. It's a different definition of the word mediumship. And so what the world population thinks of as mediumship is words or words and images that come along with some kind of advice, right? They said, but what if the definition of mediumship changed for the human population? And what if that definition was something like just say yes to guidance, and then maybe your emotions would shift because of guidance, maybe your timing would shift because of guidance, and maybe it's not all about manifesting hello, teachers to speak, we would like you to know this. It would be more of, today was a really great day. Today was a really, and another day, and another day, and another day. And that's how I feel about this summertime and this extraordinary heat. It's been easy. I have no complaints in me, although I'm quite aware of what the temperature is and being in it. I'm not hibernating indoors. It's easy. Suddenly, it's easy. So anyway, they want me to bring that up, emotional, manifesting emotions from guidance. And they're saying, technically it's emotional mediumship, kind of a twist on what the world defines mediumship as, right? Yeah.
I like that definition.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I do too. Mm-hmm. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And Carol, you do such a beautiful job for any of our audience members who have not tuned in and know your background and how your conscious channeling unfolded. If you wouldn't mind just sharing the unexpected ways that arose and what has been unfolding for you ever since.
Oh, my goodness. Unexpected is a great way to describe it. I was your normal, average person, prior military, Marine Corps specifically. I was an IT program and project manager for a contractor that served for the military. And so that was in my life strongly. And a relationship change, just came about, as a lot of people experience. I'm not unlike other people that had a relationship change. But what it came with was this thirst to understand why people interact with other people the way that they do. And so there was this need to know how to engage with people from the standpoint of friendly. Why are some people friendly and some people are not? The mind goes different ways when you experience some kind of, upset. And I found meditation. I found silent meditation. And in 9 months of silent meditation, I found in 30 days, people started seeming nicer. I felt nicer. In 60 days, I was witnessing people interacting differently and interacting with me differently. And in 90 days, I was having feedback. What have you been doing? You just seem so much happier. And so it was kind of a testament to myself. And so that was, the first 3 months. And shortly after that, I had just a completely different experience. My body would sink into meditation in a very specific way. And it was always silent meditation. I didn't do mantras. I didn't do guided meditation. I didn't do visual. I didn't do sound baths. I didn't do any of that stuff. I just made quiet time every day for some relaxed me time, closed eye, silent me time. And 9 months into it, I had some powerful experiences. And on that 9 month, it was 7.5 years ago now, and my face was constantly moving in meditation, not my body. I wasn't swaying or anything like that, but my face was constantly moving. But it felt so peaceful that I just went with it. And then 9 months into that meditation, my face kind of swung to the left, and then very distinct cursive writing occurred in the air with my face, and my guide introduced himself, told me what name he would like me to call him, and some relationship questions that I had, from dealing with that were answered for me. And they took the time gave me some information. They said, go ahead and write that down. And I would open my eyes and I would write it all down. And then I would think into it again, more face spelling, open my eyes, write it down, pages and pages and pages of guidance on that day one. And about 6 weeks later, they simply said, Carol, would you allow us to ask your mind to speak the words that we're providing to you clairvoyantly and also, in this face spelling way? And I went to say yes, and I never got the word yes out, and a full flowing of conversation came out, and it was later that day that they wrote a chapter of a book that became Ocularity of the Mind. And that was my start 7.5 years ago. I wasn't going for mediumship. I was not involved in the spiritual community. I had crystals. Who doesn't, right? I mean, it's kind of a fun thing to have. But I'm not a metaphysical seeker or a spiritual seeker. It showed up in my life fast and furious. And 3 years later, I was doing side-by-side work with them and my full-time job. 3 years later, they just spoke to me one day and they said, Carol, you're ready to leave your contracting work behind and move forward full-time as a channeled medium. And I said, okay. I put my resignation in that day, and I've been doing what I'm doing full-time ever since. So it's kind of a really quick version of it, that there were some powerful experiences that I had during that 9 months of meditating, and then direct communication in a very cool way that, I'm a sentimental person, and there's just it's a cool story. I gave you the short version.
Absolutely.
But, but it's a wonderful thing. So I wasn't going for it. It found me. Yeah, it found me, and I love it. Wouldn't change it a bit.
Yeah. I think it's awesome.
And it's so aligned with what we're speaking about, because you didn't doubt the process. You believed that what was unfolding was aligned for what was meant to be. And
once it surfaced. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once it surfaced, I certainly did. But in that 9 months, I was just trying to emotionally feel better about my circumstance. It was really to help recover and then be able to, pick up the pieces and move forward in a way that felt like I really wanted to leave the baggage behind. And little did I know that there would be, I wanted a change. I sought the change. I made the change happen, but I wanted to feel good about it, and I didn't want to drag the baggage with me. And little did I know that life certainly would change, and it would come with some glorious experiences. And so it's a testament to, it's almost you don't know the future. You don't know what the future has. You don't know what is unfolding. You just know whether you feel good or you don't feel good. And I didn't feel good in that relationship. And so I made moves to leave it behind. But, when you leave a relationship behind, that doesn't feel perfect either, usually. And so I wanted to leave that baggage behind as well. That's where the meditation came in. And then evidently mediumship, which had been gestating under the surface for, at least my adult life is what they said, rose to the surface, and in a very usable way. And I'm really thankful for that, to be able to have it strong enough where it's validation in every appointment and every workshop that I do. There's validation left and right, and that really feels good. It feels good to have that level of mediumship.
Absolutely. So interesting. And, I couldn't help but think sometimes we have almost like an invisible blindfold that's blocking our view. And so by doing that practice and doing that meditation, you were really opening up and allowing the broader perspective, not just that this thing happened to you, but that it was opening new doorways, and to have faith and to quit your job, that belief that everything would unfold perfectly is really fantastic.
I think so too. Yeah. That belief and faith is very important.
There is no way to fully describe the elation at being told that I was ready to move forward as a full-time channeler. It's difficult now still for me to call myself a medium. Channeler is what I do. And I do private sessions. I do, readings and attunements almost every day of the week. But there really is a difference in the way the world views mediums and the way they view channelers. And I am a channeler. At least that's what I've come across. It's, mediums answer questions, and channelers have guidance and teaching that flows through them. And so I do both. But the channeling, the workshops and the private sessions, I don't use the clairvoyant ability. They don't bring that out in workshops and private sessions. Privately I do it, because it doesn't always feel good to have the channeling out loud, because you sometimes feel like you're walking around the house talking to yourself, and you're not. There's like this feeling. I feel like a sensation on my face, and my mouth is moving, but it's a distinct understanding. And there's also the conversation of who is providing the conversation. But so it comes in handy when you're out and about shopping or doing whatever to have the clairvoyant ability show up. And so I adore both. But it is difficult. Professional IT program and project manager for large volumes of business and for hundreds of employees and, really dealing with, critical things and being in charge of it. There's a level of professionalism and pride that goes along with chosen occupation. And then this rather weird occupation shows up in skill and depth that I just find I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful for it. But, there's a kind of strangeness to, when people ask you what you do, I have to use guidance on that one. They said, with this person, it's okay to call yourself a medium or a channeler. With that person, just tell them that you do private consulting or life coaching. With that one, try to stay off the topic, but if it does come up, mention that you do some consulting work and that you own a wellness magazine. They said pare it down, but try to stay off the topic. So, having that guidance that comes in, it's like a play-by-play during the day, it's helpful. It's that level that I have. But it is kind of strange. You go from 20-some years of being a professional something to leaving that all behind and then immersing yourself among the spiritual community, never having been spiritual or metaphysically, inclined, and then finding that this new ability, occupational level ability, puts you squarely in the midst of something that you had never done before, and nobody in my family, it's not something that we did. It's not something that I wasn't brought up with it. And so there was acclimating to it, but there was this enormous peacefulness that was partly conversation and part emotional. That was, this is the right thing to do, and oh my gosh, it's so fun, it's so easy. And I would say to people, channeling to me, it's like breathing. It's just natural. It's easy. I don't have to practice, although I still do meditation. I still do meditation because it's good to strengthen the daytime awareness of guidance. But, to tell a stranger that you're a medium when you've got a couple of decades of telling people that you're a professional IT, person, right? There, you get some strange looks. You're a what? You're a what?
Yeah.
So it's nice to have the guidance on how to handle that.
Yeah, people are the everyday person is caught up in this identity thing. How do you identify yourself? And
right. What is my influence?
Yeah, it's like it's interesting. I'm yearning to have people kind of connect on a different level than just those facts of identity facts that people feel comfortable with, right? And so I understand exactly where you're coming from with that. That is definitely something that you have to get comfortable with. You've gotten comfortable with it, but yes, you have that everyday guidance. I was going to ask you how you did that. When you meet people on the golf course or whatever, and they say, "What do you do?" and they're expecting to hear some, something with 3 letters behind your name, or something like that.
Which I did have.
Yeah, you did before. But when you're out there and they they're expecting that, but it's wonderful that you mentioned and thank you very much that you have this moment-to-moment guidance with per person, for each individual that you meet, exactly what you can say, and that's comfortable. Is it because you want it comfortable for you or comfortable for them when you say you describe yourself one way or the other? I was just wondering.
It's really both. It's really both, because thoughts do gravitate magnetically.
Right.
And I'm regurgitating what they've taught. But, when you think a thought, it comes with emotion. And that emotion is activated. And then you draw more of the emotion in, and then other thoughts like it. And so when you feel strange introducing yourself, then you're adding more or less, I feel awkward. It's almost like throwing a softball to the future that says, allow me to sometimes feel awkward, right? And so that's the need to fix how you feel in the moment allows you to have future manifesting that is free from that negative emotion. But also, if somebody else finds what you said to be awkward, then they could lob that softball over to you that says you are awkward. But it's magnetic attraction of thought. And so, when you lob it to the future of, oh, I will feel awkward in the future. If I'm feeling it now, allow me to feel awkward again in the future, and hopefully I resolve it. But when other people find what you do or what you say or how you're behaving to be awkward, even if they don't say it to you verbally, they do say it, mentally. And then you get it, and then you throw that softball to the future. The unconscious mind is magnetically charged, and it doesn't care, positive or negative. It just says, what does our here and now moment consist of? What is the emotion and what is the topic that we are working with? Because I'll go get more. It's like this, cheerful go-getter. I'll go get more. You feeling awkward? Great, I'll go get more. You feel awkward talking to people? Great, I'll bring some of those conversations to you. Oh, you feel awkward about introducing what your occupation is. Okay, I am so excited to go bring more people to you for you to have this experience, because, the unconscious mind is not a mind that thinks. It's the magnetic attraction of thought. It's magnetic attraction of thought. And yes, we are connected to a non-physical person who put intentions for physical life together, but that person is not guiding our life. The magnetic attraction of thought is. And so it really is both. You want to take care of yourself and then draw from people what you're wanting. We all want to give compliments and receive them. So it's more of, I guess I'm more aware now. I say things like, today, I am interested in two-way friendly between me and everybody else. Today I'm interested in two-way happy between me and everybody else, because it sets the magnetic push and pull to be inclusive of me, not just witnessing it, but inclusive of me, and then to add very specific emotional things like happy curiosity or friendly or sense of accomplishment, a sense of pride, a sense of, confidence and pride. So you kind of just set some of those up for yourself early in the day, and then watch how things start to unfold. And then have an awareness that the intention that you set for the day creates a belief that doing that kind of thing is good and useful. And when you start to do it, you start to magnetically tune into other people who also have the belief that setting an intention for the day is helpful. And so you start to draw energy of, that's oneness, is tuning into the thought process that other people are having. It's being like-minded. We're all unique, but also we're not, because we all do push and pull of thought magnetically. So you got to, be careful what you think about. Make wise choices. But I learned that from the teachers, not from the spiritual and metaphysical community. So learning it from the teachers, for one, it gives me a sense of pride because the channeling is coming through me. But also, I don't have the well of confusion from how the spiritual metaphysical community describes oneness and describes belief systems. And, there's goodness in all things. There's goodness in experiencing negativity. Everything that is supposed to happen is happening. And, what the teachers say in my personal guide, they said that's just not the case. What's supposed to happen is you're supposed to live your life from guidance. And then humanity is powerfully friendly. You're good to each other, and you manifest extraordinary, innovative kind of things. And war becomes something unheard of. Do no harm mentality becomes the way of life for all of humanity, not a certain segment of humanity. And that includes the, animal kingdom that we live with as well. It neutralizes, a strong belief that not just that we are guided, because we are, but the belief, creating the belief and then tuning into the belief that others also have, that manifesting from guidance is the right thing to do. The world softens in their human engagement. So that's the belief that the teachers are fostering in what they call the thought streams and in people far and wide. It's Not just that we are guided, because we are, but you can have a textbook and never open it. You can have a TV but never turn it on. You can, you get the idea. It's being guided is nice. Knowing that you're guided, even better. But manifesting your life from guidance, that's where individually and, humanity as a whole starts to make really good changes, good, healthy changes for, the world's population and the planet itself, which includes the animals, which is also good.
That's wonderful. I have a question for you because I kept thinking about resonance when you were speaking, Carol. And when you said friendly meets friendly, you're putting that out. And then the individuals that you interact with during your day, are you creating that field of resonance so that it's creating and allowing space for others who have interest in that topic to find you, to open new doorways so that they can strengthen their beliefs?
Well, my personal hope and desire is that people feel drawn to what the teachers teach and that they like me personally, right? Because I'm not the teachers. And I do believe that I've learned a lot from them. There's a lot that they teach, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I know the answer to that one. Oh, I know the answer to that one. And then, it's a fun realization that you are learning. And so I don't want people to see me as the teacher. I don't want people to see me as, any kind of a spiritual or wellness guru. I do want them to be drawn to me so they can learn from the teachers, and I want them to feel resonance with the essential material, and I want them to feel resonance with whatever comes about in their private sessions. And I want them to have a sense of likability towards me. So that's my personal intention, is that I come across as happy and friendly to anybody and everything, everywhere, all the time. And that's a daily mantra that I say to myself. And but it really needs to be said so that you know that is what you're wanting, not just write it in a book and say, yeah, this is true. Or, just glance at it every once in a while. But when you say it every day, you create this reservoir of this is what I want every day, not just on some days or on special days, but every day. I want people to view me as likable everywhere, with everyone and every subject all the time. And I want people to feel drawn to the teachers and what they teach and fall in love with the material, because the material itself guides the inner mind. And that's, so it's a two-way thing. I don't want people to have confusion. There are channelers that they know the material and they also teach. I'm not wanting to do that. That's not something that I feel comfortable with. I'm comfortable with the material, but I don't want people to view me personally as the teacher, because there are times where people ask questions. When they first started talking about the grid, they brought that into one of the workshops based on a question that somebody asked. And you can only teach, as a human being, you can only teach from the reservoir of information that you have learned. And the teachers bring forward new information all the time. And so it really keeps me and my ego in check. So, I want people to view me as likable, and I want them to view the teachers as most desired. Most desired. I hope that makes sense.
I know Michael and I love you as a human being, and we love the teachers too, but it's a different, I don't know that there's a conversation when I speak with you that I don't have a great big smile on my face and in my heart. It's always so wonderful. Really wonderful.
I love that. Thank you. And I really feel the same about both of you, and that's why these conversations are so easy, and they're so fun, and I know we all three of us feel like the conversation is always guided. It always, there's little synchronicities that just, they've been talking about belief for weeks. And, here pre-call, and we talked about, we all feel like beliefs are something that's going to come up today. And sure enough, I know that they have got a few things that they want to say, but probably in response to one of the questions that you have. But, sometimes you just know that life, it just feels like somebody has a hand in helping it to be a little better.
Of course, yes. I'm dying to hear what they have to say about beliefs, though, because they're always. Can I say it? As we said in the beginning, it was something. They always have something unique, a different take on what we happen to be thinking about. And when it comes to beliefs, and that's the beauty of these conversations, and why we love to have you on once a month. It kind of rights the ship, so to speak, and helps both Lisa and I and our listeners recalibrate, so to speak, recalibrate our thinking. And so, yeah, please, what do the teachers have to say about beliefs? Because I'm just loving the idea of what they have to say.
Well, James' Speak Carol's Guide, it's very easy. It's very easy to have these conversations with two people who are wanting to be guided verbally. All right? Most people don't want that. Most people want to make their own decisions. Most people don't want to feel like they're a puppet and being given experiences. They want to believe in great and glorious, godly beings are watching us and opening a path for us. But human beings are very self-assured, and we like that. But when the human population is very self-assured, then they want to make their own decision. And so handing the unconscious part of you that does manifest to your physical life, we just call it location 1, location 2. We talk to the soul within who's in location 1, and then it manifests what it wants to you, the human person. And sometimes there's guidance in it, but most times not. So to give a human being an experience that we have created or have had a hand in creating, it takes a gathering of people whose unconscious mind is congruent with that idea. And the three of you are very much like that. And so it's a blessing for us. It's a blessing for us because then we get to, right? But the human population is not that way. The human population does allow some emotional influence. It's paving, it's a yellow brick road, but it's paving the road with friendly and then guiding the soul within to it. Would you walk upon this gilded path instead of the organic path? Because this gilded one is coded with friendly. Friendly meets friendly, eye to eye, and conversation to conversation. And sometimes the mind will choose it. But adding experiences to that gilded road, it's much more difficult. Unless you have come upon the idea and you have formed a belief. A belief is something that the soul within agrees with. But it doesn't agree with hate. But it does agree that you have a lot of it in the world. And so it simply says, yes, there sure is a lot of it in the world. And so it continues. Because once a belief is there, it's a belief that it is here. The soul within sees it existentially. Yes, there is hate in the world. Yes, there is discontent in the world. Yes, there is unwelcomed guest. It is a part of the human experience. And so the soul within says that these are happening. They are happening. And I can't create a different environment for all of the soul beings that are occupying the space with me. I can create my day, I can create my moment, I can create my environment, but I can't create for everybody else here. And so it is here. I can choose different, but I can't force another soul being to choose differently. But the soul is operating in an unconscious way, and so you have human beliefs. And so in location 1, where the soul lives temporarily during human life, the belief there is that do no harm is the way. It is the way, it is the why, it is the what, it is the how. But in location 2, where people live, you have human emotions and you have depth of human experience. And you don't always have the opportunity to choose do no harm because maybe you really do need to express your opinion and nobody is listening to you, and so you have to raise your voice. What is raising your voice? Concern. You're activating concern. How is it concern? I'm concerned that my opinion will not be spoken. And if it's not spoken, it can never be acknowledged. And so there is an intrinsic need to be acknowledged. And so sometimes negative emotion is manifested. It's because there's so much human engagement. But it doesn't have to be dominant. And it doesn't have to be backed up with another emotional thought process, outburst, or engagement. It could simply be, I have a need to be acknowledged, and so if I have to elevate the tone of my voice, I will, and as soon as all eyes are on me, I'll drop it back down to friendly. And so it's stepping forward to get what you need and then dropping back to friendly. Get what you need and drop back to friendly. It's have awareness of what you need and then go after it and then come back to friendly. And so it's use friendly as quick as you can, as often as you can, and come back to it as soon as you can. But all of that is in this location too where physical people are. It is a multidimensional reality inside what we call this dome of earth life. It's a classroom environment. And you all are here temporarily. You come and go as you see fit. You are all guided, but your belief systems stop there. Your belief systems across the population of the human existence, and we don't mean just people here today, but people for almost as long as the planet has been occupied. You have a belief that you are guided, and that belief we love, we adore it. We'll never even attempt to change it, but it is where it has stopped. Believing that you are guided is good, but creating a belief that manifesting from guidance is correct, well, that's what we're doing now. That's what the shift is all about. Age of Aquarius is what some people call it. Moving from 4D to 5D is what some people call it. And some people just say, the world needs to be nicer. And so it is becoming nicer. But you have to want it from the inside and the outside. You have to be congruent. The soul within has to want it. And it does. But it only follows the magnetic charge of what? Emotions. So manifesting emotions from guidance, it is the first step. It is the last step. It's not the only step. But if you had to pick something, soul within, of every listener, everywhere, if you had to pick something from the assortment of things that you are being guided to do, manifest emotions. Because we will never ask you to manifest anything that is unfriendly. Never. We improve who you are, or we alter what you could have had. It's always love and love first, love and love last, love in between, love in the beginning, love in the end, love above, love beside, love below, love is. Love is the way. And what is love but friendly? Manifesting from guidance emotionally is our priority for the human population. You have to have a belief that grows on top of the one that you already have. You have a belief that you are guided. Good. Keep it going, human beings. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And form the belief that manifesting from guidance is the correct thing to do. We'll turn it over to both of you.
Thank you. Manifesting from guidance, the distinction is quite notable. And that's what I wanted to say. That distinction of believing that you're guided versus manifesting from it, taking action from the belief, if I get that right.
Yes.
Am I correct with that assumption?
Yeah, but you have to form the belief. You have to form the belief.
Right, yeah, from the belief.
How do you form the belief? How do you form the belief? Well, you don't form a belief just because you come across it the first time. You form a belief by the soul within desiring to come across it often. And when it comes across often enough, then it will act upon it in a patterned way. When the soul within acts upon things in a predictable, patterned way, you have a belief. But you can have good beliefs and you can have bad beliefs, those that work for you and those that work against you. So the soul within, although introduced to something, it doesn't form a belief automatically, nor does it follow that thought consistently. And so we say, write it down. Put it on your screensaver. Take it with you. Put it on a lanyard. Put it on a T-shirt. Put it on your dashboard. Put it on something for you to see. Not just love is the way, love is the light, love is my guiding light. Well, because you've got human love, and then you've got purity of non-physical love.
Right.
It's be more distinct. You can be creative, but we want you to be distinct. I am guided, and it is good and right and proper to manifest my physical life from guidance, from the one that guides me. We phrase it in different ways, but include those things. When you get too flowery, when you get too emotionally descriptive, then you could simply add an interesting idea, but it doesn't magnetically align strong enough. If you want a belief, if you want your lives to manifest happy and healthy each and every day, and you come upon things that you want, and then suddenly you get it. You start becoming almost like an auto-manifester. How do you do that? You have to create the belief, which is not easy to come by. You have to create a belief, which means the pattern is so strong that it is undeniable in the human experience, person by person by person by person. And the belief is simply, I am guided, and it is good and right and proper to manifest my physical life from that guidance. And that's how you do it. And so you make a signboard and you hang it on your wall. You make a lanyard or a T-shirt and you wear it. You do things that make it obvious to the unconscious mind that you want quantity, 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 because quantity wins. Now, how long does it take to form a belief? Well, the unconscious mind draws thought to it in ways that human beings aren't aware of. And so if you see it every day, then assume that in a year's time, it is taking notice of it and following suit. But if you do it for a decade, you have the belief. But it doesn't need to take a decade. It doesn't, because the unconscious mind can draw in thick amounts or it can draw in thin amounts. It's like a conveyor belt with a little package or laden with packages. It's how bad do you want it? How happy does it make you feel? And so when people have these kind of conversations with us, many times, we won't say most, but many times, they'll come to us with thoughts like, but I really need this to happen. This belief that you talked about is very interesting to me, and I need my life to change, so I need that belief. Can you help me? Can you help me? Is there an attunement or an exercise or behavior? What can I do? What can I do? I need this. And we said, well, the first thing you need to do is lose all of that anxiety. You need to simply understand what but truly, because negative emotion adds delay.
Exactly.
It is negative propulsion. And so every ounce of negativity, you're stepping back. You're pushing yourself further from what you're wanting. So what do you need to do? Oh, my goodness, I love that idea. That's the one. That idea, that is perfect for me. It's perfect for me. Now, teachers, how do I get there? You have to change the emotion. And when you're using anxiety-riddled thought, you're not there. And nor can you be. When you know that your life is a mess, or when you know that your life is in danger, when you know that your body is hurting, that's the time to say, you know what? I like happy better. And I really like the teaching that positive beliefs are good for me. And the most positive belief that I can think of, now this is while your headache is pounding, while you're stuck in traffic, while you're frightened of the thunder or whatever is happening in your lives. In that moment, I like happy better, because I do, with a tone of voice that sounds believable, not with a tone of voice that sounds frightened or pained.
Or angry.
And I do believe that I am guided, and I And I really like the idea of forming the belief that manifesting my physical life from guidance is the good, right, proper thing to do. And that's what I want. That's the one. I love it. I love it. You have to go from concern and anxiousness to adoration. And you can. You can. And the more often you see those words and really sink into the meaning of them, then the easier and the easier and the easier it gets. And then before you know it, you're manifesting friendships that work. You're manifesting conversations that are two-way dialogue, full of good information and complimentary feedback, and it leaves you feeling elated. And it leaves the other person feeling elated as well. It expands your social networking, and it right-sides up your social norms. Your social beliefs are plenty and not all of them good. And so it takes time. But time is not the thing that will make it happen. It's being attentive to good and proper use of time. And good and proper use of time is putting it somewhere obvious for you to sink into those words, because you must come upon it often enough for the unconscious mind to take notice of it. And then you have to stay with it so that it begins to collect the amount of energy on that topic that it needs to have patterned life from it. And when the pattern is thick, you'll know it. It'll be undeniable. Back over to you both.
Wow. Thank you. There's so much to think about. I love the concept of quantity, and being able to make beliefs thicker. I've never heard it referred to that way, and I love the idea that we can go from anxious to adoration. What a beautiful word. And so thank you. I'm so grateful for that. And what came to mind, what I wanted to ask, because I often hear this, is the word difficult. And I am suspecting that exists in the conscious mind. And so if we quantity, creating I like happy better, can that crowd that out? Because I think oftentimes that becomes a perception of difficulty and fear or disappointment, as you had said. So as we move that through, can human beings quiet the difficult and bring in more of the other?
Well, the soul within manifests everything to you. Mm-hmm. So the human being cannot change their conditions, because your thought about the condition, your thought about wanting the condition changed, and the condition itself were all manifested to you from the unconscious part of you. Subconscious mind is the soul within. And so what do you need? You need to have good old-fashioned logic. Well, I'm having a bad day, but also I like happy better. The fact that thought, it's logic. The fact that sentence showed up in my unhappy day tells me something, and it tells me that I am wanting improvement. And so I am going to encourage that, and I'm going to err on the side of caution, and I am going to follow the path of happy. And because it's a thought, side by side, my unhappy day, but I am desiring improvement, I'm going to go change my clothes, and I'm going to put on my favorite shirt. I'm going to tidy up the bedroom if it needs to be done. I'm going to add happy. Now this looks better. Okay, I'm going to fluff the pillows. Oh, now that looks better. I'm going to, well, you know what? My shoelace is a little twisted. I'm going to untwist it, and that feels better. We want you to do the little things while it feels good to do so. Don't get yourself all twisted up and that you have to make all these changes, because then you're using anxiety. You're not using pleasing. And so it's, how can you behaviorally influence? Influence is an encourager. How do you encourage the mind to stick with happy? You got to choose it. You got to choose it. You have to choose it. Do your pillows in their unfluffed manner bother you in that moment? And if you can say, yes, it bothers me, then do you have enough time to fluff them up a little? I do. Then go do it. Actually, I do not. I'm late for a meeting. Okay. Then look at the pillows and say, this thing I will do later. And then walk away quickly. Make a statement to yourself. This I know needs to be done, but I can't stop my life just to do these tiny fixes. But I will do it later. I will add happy where I can, and it feels good to me to do so. Don't become manic. It's not what we're suggesting by any means. It's simply know how you feel and then follow the path of happy. And then happy will propel you forward. The more you use, the more you notice. The more you notice, the more you want it. The more you notice and want it, well, that's just good old-fashioned happy right there. And that's where we want people, to be in the midst of happy and engaged with it. Because you can be in the midst of happy and be frightened or discouraged. That means that you are incongruent with your surroundings or with your social gatherings. We want you to be congruent with happy. So you got to be where happy is. You need to talk to people, go where the people are. That means maybe go sit not in the quiet park, but go sit in a crowded cafe. And maybe just be where the people are. But know what you need. How do you know what you need? Ask yourself a question. What do I need? Well, I'm hungry. Okay, but are you lonely? It's not just what you need to satisfy behaviorally. What do you need to satisfy or right side up your moment in time emotionally? Am I frustrated? Okay, maybe I am. What will satisfy that? What about talking to people? What about going out for a walk? What about having a little cool thing to drink? What about taking a shower? What about maybe I need to just mow the lawn? I think that's the thing that makes me feel best. And now I have some motivation. I'm going to mow the lawn. And now I feel a sense of accomplishment, which is pride. And now the rest of the day feels a little better, because sometimes procrastination is just weighing so heavily that you don't even know how bad it is. Procrastination and ridding yourselves of it. Well, that's a good pattern. But that doesn't create a belief. The belief is that procrastination is good for you. And so you want to rid yourself of the belief that procrastination is good for you, because then the soul within stops delaying on giving us yeses to help it manifest a good and proper life. Back to the both of you, please.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful, and I would encourage any of our audience members who want more of these incredible teachings to go to channelingtheteachers.com. You have workshops coming up. You have an Our Knowing workshop and also an ongoing resonance workshop monthly, as well as the Enlightened series, which are weekly teachings. And there are just so many things that are absolutely incredible, and I love these conversations. I'm so appreciative of them because they just make me want more and more and more. Quantity.
Thank you so much.
More of the teachings.
Yeah, I agree.
To make it nice and clear for people, there's 3 types of workshops that are held regularly. One is a 4-part series. It's new and different every month, and it is the essential material. It's the teaching segment, the teaching type of workshop, and there's plenty of time for Q&A, but that's where you really learn this stuff. The Our Knowing, Conversations with the Teachers, that is your How Do I Manifest My Life Better workshop. That's people are in the driver's seat, and they drive the conversation based on what they're needing help with. Resonance is also once a month, and it's the healing workshop. You know, the teachers teach about how emotions are the cause of all things that go wrong, and that workshop is putting their information into action, and so it's a healing workshop. And so you can purchase those individually. You can also, if you love it and you want to come all the time, there's a nice and easy way to ensure that you do that without having to pay for things individually, and that's the Mastery subscription. You do get a little savings on it too, but you know, it's a nice monthly bundle. And there's always the Wellness magazine that I love to throw out there because it's one of my favorite things to do. And it's filled with guidance cover to cover. So those are things. So it's 3 regularly scheduled workshops, but they're new and different every month. And then there's the Wellness magazine. There's some cruises a couple times a year or some on-location workshops. And then there's always the private sessions, which an amazing amount of information and, positive flow from the teachers is found in every one of those. It's really my pleasure to provide all of those to everyone.
Of course. They're awesome. I love your magazine. I love it. It's a great way. That's if nothing else, I encourage our listeners to subscribe to the magazine. No, not in your everyday or monthly or annual life will you come across what's in this magazine. True guidance. No noise, just straight guidance from the teachers. And it's like it's not something you can argue with. It's not something you can have an opinion about it if you'd like. However, because that's your free will, I just love the fact that it's something that will elevate you. Would that be a good description? It elevates me. So
I love that. I love that you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that elevates you. Everyone needs something that elevates. Elevates them. Everybody needs it. And to have something like that come into your life regularly on a regular basis is something that it's priceless. So you go out and you spend money on a lot of different things. Get a subscription. How much does it cost, Carol?
$10 a month. It's a digital magazine that is published once a month, and also you can have a physical copy. The physical copy is not $10 a month, but I do have several people who, on a regular basis, ask for the actual physical copy. It's beautiful. I have all of them myself. It's guidance. And so what is in it? There's no fluff. There's no advertising in between all the guided information, all of the advertising, which is really about how to get in touch with the teachers mostly. It's all at the end. Mm-hmm. So it's there. So it's a reference. But, the teachers decide what they want in there and where to place it. And so the whole thing is I put it together based on what they've asked me to do. And it's pleasing information, pleasing to the soul within, pleasing to the person, pleasing to the eye. I adore doing it. I'm actually the one that does it, and it's a monthly contribution to creating happy and healthy lives. And it feels good to put something like that out there that is very, very unique. It's not a spiritual magazine. It's the channelings of the teachers, and it's incredibly affordable. Incredibly affordable. Yeah, listen, $10 a month. $10 a month.
My point is, we have a worldwide audience, so the digital copy is perfect. And wherever you are in the world, subscribe. Give your website again, Carol.
It is channelingtheteachers.com, and the magazine is one of the menu options. You can't miss it.
Of course. Go do it. Do it today. Everybody needs to elevate themselves.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say it's a great way to bring the quantity of more love, and happy into your life, because you can't help but feel happy when you read it. Absolutely.
I agree.
Just such a gift. It really is. And Carol, it's such a gift to be able to share this time with you each month. And Michael, I'm so grateful. This has been the most amazing conversation. And each week, we never know. And each month, we never know what they're going to bring through. So thank you so much, Carol. It has been absolutely delightful.
Thank you again, Carol.
You're welcome. My pleasure, as always. You're welcome, always.
Have a great...
I will. They're already aware, but I'll also have a conversation with them after. Thank you so much. And for the audience, breathe easy when you listen to the replay of this. And some of you are going to feel like you're leaning forward. That's a good sign that the unconscious part of you is listening to what the teachers are vibrationally saying, and also the channel part of the conversation. And so with that, hold her up.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carol and the teachers, and to each and every one of you who make the time to join Michael and I for these Connect to Love explorations. We so deeply appreciate you. Please know that the power of belief is already within you. And until next time, keep reconnecting with your heart and choosing love one thought, one moment, one connection at a time. And of course, as always, peace out.